Martin ends 2-1 here at Princes Park. How good does that feel, and how did you rate the performance from the lads today?
Well, I feel a bit of a fraud, to be honest with you, because I'm standing here representing Douse and Christian, Jim Stannard, Steve and Calvin and all the players, and they've done all the work, really. I mean, I've hung around, and it's a special day. We're all very happy. We know that the team, and we've lost 15 games, I think, so the fact that we've won enough to finish second is quite remarkable. Great credit to the talent of the team, I think. I mean, probably we could have maybe worked a bit harder on the shape of it. We've lost a lot of games towards the end, and obviously from Thursday evening a sense of despair, although I have to say Concord played well, and but it was obviously a game that the fans expected us to win and we expected to win. To being here today after 100 minutes it was at Havant when the Oxford City result finally came through, and we were told we were second. But you know, the league table looks nice, but that's not the end of the aim, is it? We've got try and do what Douse and Christian and I were involved in at Woking, and Kelvin as well, to do it via the playoffs. We managed to do it 4 years ago, and I suppose we know how it can be done, we know how hard it is, but we've given ourselves a chance.
It was a tough game today, and I think that was expected. St Albans are a really strong side, and when we went to them it was a tough game there. But do you think Thursday sort of drove the players on? You know, it was a difficult
It defies logic, because we were poor here against Taunton on a Thursday, and we went to Tunbridge and won, and we were poor at Concord last Thursday, 2 days ago, less than 48 hours ago, and we played here with character, ability, and probably the second half, one of our best halves, I think, of the season. Sean Jeffers, who we know about, we had him as a player at Hampton. He scored some important goals for us. He scored a worldie goal today, and you just think, well, you know, maybe that is football. But what is also football is you can have the extreme depths of despair, which was driving home across the bridge on the Thursday night, and the joy of spending some time with everybody this evening at the function that was put in the diary months ago, and who knows what it could have been if we'd lost today. You know, I mean, we've all brought our clothes. I remember putting my smarter attire in the car, thinking, it's not very smart, by the way, but smarter than this, thinking, how am I going to get through this if it goes wrong today? But it didn't go wrong, and great effort by everybody involved, and delighted for Samir to come back and finally get into double figures. A long time between 9 and 10, but you know, he's got amazing talent. He was picked really for the short term for today to do exactly what he did. Didn't take him long, did it? Was it 2 minutes or something like that? So Douse picked the right team, which he invariably does, of course, and substitutes played their part as well. Junaid, we had a little chat before the game about, look, Sam's better at left back. If you have to go into midfield, could you do it? Yeah, no problem. And he did it terrifically, particularly if he was on a booking. And if you play out of position, there's always a chance you will do something that you're not quite used to doing and incur the referee's wrath the second time. But he was splendid. Everybody's played a part. I've just gone around, all those who maybe played 1 or 2 games, everybody has contributed to it, you know, and we're delighted to put some smiles on some faces today. And we're not getting carried away with it, because we know we've got to try and do the job here, but the whole target was to be here for the playoff games, and you know, we could have ended up 4th today, and we've now cemented second. Thankfully, our 2 main rivals did drop points, and you know, Chelmsford have come from behind so often, or scored late in games so often, that we were hearing they were drawing. We think, oh well, no, they're gonna win it, but they've had a great season as well, and you know, who knows who we might see. At least we've got a week for Hampton and then a week to the playoffs, so got a chance to get everybody fit and up and running again, and in that respect we're not too bad. You know, everybody's got a chance of being involved in, especially next Saturday, I think, because I have to see what Douse does. But we're going back to, I mentioned Hampton before, and they're a lovely club. We had 4 wonderful years there, and it's nice to go back with no absolute pressure on the result. When the pictures came right out, I thought, that'll be us on April the 29th, is it? Yeah. we have to go to Hampton and get something, and it's just, my partner lives just across the river. She's going to go by boat across. There's a ferry across to the ground front. She lives on the Surrey side, and it only runs after the clocks go forward, so it's running. And I might even do it myself. Now I can relax a little bit more, but we mustn't take our eye off the ball, and we must enjoy tonight. That's an important thing, and I know you'll be there as well, and you've played your part too, so we're very grateful for your professionalism and recognising what it takes to be your side of the camera. I know how you've all done such a great job, so well done to you as well.
Thank you. But like you said, every person in there has contributed in some shape or form, but just a word on Richard Chin today. Man of the match, he was exceptional, made some really crucial moves and times that we really needed it. Just a word on him and what you thought of his performance.
Well, the word on him is that the boys have teased him because he got cramp, and 18-year-olds shouldn't get cramp. They said, well, every man of the match is Tom Bonner, how come you're getting it? That was also said in there. And Chinny, sit down, Tom's going to go and get it because it's really his. But Tom's cleaned up as well with the awards, so great, congratulations to him. No, it's excellent really. He's very grounded. He's played in Chance first team, so we've got somebody of obviously ability at the higher level where they trust him. He hasn't, at the end, he said to me, that's about time I did something like that. He feels he could have contributed more, which is great because he's contributed a lot, and the fact that he knows he's got more to give and he's now got the opportunity to do it. So I just hope he is loaned for the playoffs. That's always a question that I never know the answer to, but I'm sure everything about Dartford's very efficient, so I'm sure that's been done. So excellent for him, delighted for him. And we are a mixture of very young and quite senior as well, and the senior gives you the experience of Charlie Sheringham to get the ball in the corner at the end and run down the clock, and the Bonds and Connor at the back, they've stood up for us. The house has always been a great believer in young players, and we're delighted when the young ones get some recognition, which Sam scored a wonderful goal. It'll be forgotten on Thursday because it was in a defeat, but great moment for him, and Chinny today to get man of the match. So that's the future. It's just the coaches that are getting older, I'm afraid.
You mentioned Samir. He came off in the 56th minute. Was that just purely protection to make sure he is okay for the playoffs?
I think he will be okay for the playoffs, but no, he would have stayed on a little bit longer. I mean, we sort of had 65 minutes, but then he sat next to me on the bench, which meant that I did a lot of listening. And I'm sure he'll be a coach in years to come. But no, very pleased for him. He's one of the real personalities in the squad, as you know, and we love having him around. And we've been brave enough to leave him out, even though he's a proven pedigree, because sometimes we've needed a more direct approach maybe. But he's a real talent, and I'm sure any other team in the league would take him. Just
a word finally on the fans. This will feel so good for them today, winning it at home, getting the second place. Just a word on them.
Well, we've only won second place, and winning the game, of course. But of course, they were great. I mean, it is. I've been around non-league football a long time. Away teams love coming here. We did when I was an opponent. Came here a few times. I lost 5-0 here with Kingstonian. Douse got sent off, and I had to stand in the dugout for the last 10 minutes. And the chorus from up there was, "You should have stayed on the telly." And I turned around and said, "You're very right." I did use some other words as well. I said, "You're absolutely right." And we lost 5-0, and I drove Douse home from here, and we said, "We've got to get some new players in." We'd just been promoted into whatever it was, I guess the Isthmian League as the Premier, and for the next game we had 7 new players from Tuesday. It was a Tuesday night game. We had 7 new players, Hendon away, and we won 3-0. And we found out a year later that had we lost that, we'd have been sacked. And so that was my first away game at Dartford. So we survived, and Douse does get sent off from time to time, but very rarely these days, and very unluckily these days, I think.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay.